Drawing is one of the most basic forms of creating art. Learning how to draw with a pencil will set you up for success when using other kinds of tools. So, when you're thinking about using a pencil, you can use a mechanical or basic table pencil. Or there are special art pencils. A basic table pencil, has the number 2 written on it, which in the art language stands for HB. Now, these are all of the art pencils that I have available. HB means that it is a graphite that is a certain amount of denseness. Now, if you go to the H side, it becomes harder and crisper lines. To the B side, you get soft and deep, rich colors. And they just kind of go like a value scale from 0 to 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. So you can see here that HB pencil I used in the middle creates a medium dark. The 2H is lighter, B is darker, 2B darker, 4B darker, and 6B even darker. Making use of all of these different densities of graphite allows you to create a realistic drawing. It is important to keep your pencils organized and nice so that everybody can see. Now I want to show you an example of how to draw something that you see using these art pencils. So I found this really cool pot. First I'm going to draw the outside lightly, thinking about all the shapes that I see and how they connect. So it's good to start with a basic pencil, somewhere in the middle, like H or HB. And I know that my basic shape of this item was a circle, so I start with a circle. On top I see a half circle, so I added that, plus a slidey part on the edge and the backward C for the handle. When you're drawing, it's best to start light. Then when you get to adding all the details, you might want to have another piece of paper underneath your hand. This helps the paper from smudging. It won't smudge on the paper, the graphite won't smudge on the paper, it won't smudge on your hand, and your hand won't smudge it all over the paper. So, when you're using a drawing pencil, you can hold it like you've always known how. Or, a special way to hold the pencil would be to hold it sideways in your hand. When you're closer to the tip, then you have more control and you can press harder, which creates darker values. Or when you hold the pencil further away, you have a lighter grip and less control, therefore you can create lighter values. So you can see here that I'm adding in all of the different values. I'm starting out with this basic one tone of gray. Looking at the pot that I have and only drawing in the dark areas to medium areas. I'm not coloring in where the super light reflections are. I'm erasing anything that I don't like as I go along, but remember that erasers can kind of ruin the paper, so you never want to erase too much. So now you can see here I'm holding the pencil sideways. I'm using a paper underneath my hand to prevent smudging, and now I'm going back to add even more values, darks of my pencil. At this point I can start going up and down with the different pencils I had. So far I've been just using the middle of the road, a number 2 normal pencil, but now I can get a darker pencil like a 4B and add in some of the darks. You can go back and forth between the colors that you see in the darks and lights of what you're drawing and adjust them with the darks and lights of the pencils that you have. This will help you create a completed drawing. Now when you're thinking about drawing something with all these different darks and lights and values, it's best to start off lightly, almost ghost-like. Then add a little bit more to make it a little darker, and then a little bit more and more dark in the end. You never want to put your darkest darks in the picture first. You want to put the darkest darks in the picture last. Then you can go back with an eraser and erase those shiny spots to get your lightest lights. So your darkest darks and your lightest lights are the last parts that you add. And when you see that I'm drawing here, any shading that I'm adding in, I'm drawing in the direction that the teapot goes. We know the teapot is rounded, so I'm coloring all in the same back and forth kind of curved direction. Now, when you're drawing, you can use a special tool called a blending step or blending tortilla. Now, these tools are great for smushing around the pencil that you've laid down. You can do the same thing with your finger or with a paper towel, but using a blending stump or blending tortilla or your finger allows for the pencils to be smooth and not so scratchy. And any completed drawing always has a shadow, a name, and a signature. I hope you've now gotten some really great ideas on how to draw and make marks and be a better artist.